Action Manager, Nairobi City County, to just also give us a lowdown of what is happening currently so far. Hearty welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
Right, just heard that particular story, and people are wondering why not the extension. We've heard that the case of expense also is being considered here. But we have Governor Simon Kachapin, who is asking IEBC to extend because of the nature of his community. You know, they are pastoralists. Some of them now, they've crossed over to Uganda, to Tanzania as it is right now. Why would you not consider, you know, such a demographic?
Thank you so much. Such requests have been received by the Commission.
Yes.
And I think at the right time the Commission may consider that, and then maybe they'll announce to Kenyans whether there are any plans to extend the voter registration drive. But at the moment, I think the instructions we have is that it will end tomorrow. But that does not mean that it's the end of voter registration. It will still continue because by law, voter registration is continuous. So it will be happening at the constituency offices. And members of the public can access the constituency offices. And also, in some cases, the Commission actually does some specific outreach programs, maybe upon request and where the situation allows, to register Kenyans from where they are. But it will be strictly based on availability of resources and all things falling in place. Yes. All
right. I saw Nairobi County right now is leading in terms of registration. You had a mark of 2.5 million voters.
Yes.
Right now, IEBC has reached 1.5 million voters, which is 75% of what you're actually seeking for. Would you tell us then what is really informing maybe the urban areas having a high registration of voters?
In urban areas, one of the biggest factors is accessibility. Because geographically, urban areas are small, like Nairobi County is around 700 square kilometers. So compared to the number of kits that we had on the ground, it is fairly possible for someone to access a voter registration service at a nearby place. We have Huduma centers that have been active. Our 17 constituency offices have also been active. And also we had 315 voter registration equipment around the country. So one of the biggest factors is accessibility in urban areas. And also in terms of awareness to information and about where the registration is taking place, it's easier for people in urban areas to access such information. Yeah.
I thought also maybe the high population density will be a contributing factor as well. That's
true, because if you look at the targets, although we have registered, right, like as at today, we have around 250,000 who have registered so far in Nairobi County, but we also had a target of 275,000. So the target was also fairly big. But though the numbers look small in some of our ASAL areas, if you look at the actual voter turnout against the targets, they have performed much better than even urban areas. Because we look at a county like Turkana, is well over their planned target. So it's a mixed bag depending on counties.
Right, bearing the fact also we do have the rains with us. Have they really dampened, you know, the effort to come and register?
Yes, quite a number of areas were affected, especially in the rural areas. Accessibility has been a challenge, muddy roads, and then when it rains, people will prefer to go to their farms and also just stay away from the rains. So on the number of days that it rained, the voter turnout was low. For example, in Nairobi, our average target per day was around 9,190. You'll find that on rainy days it went down to 5,800 per day. So yes, the rains did affect the exercise.
It has really suppressed the turnout.
Yes.
Yes. Of course, there has been, you know, that particular campaign of Tuko Kadi, the youthful faces around this. And I wonder, from your assessment, if you may just give it maybe a fair assessment, have those faces been very youthful? Have they really turned out in numbers? We expected maybe more even here in Nairobi. Registration of around 206,000 will have been more with the activation that we saw on social media. So what did this particular activation make as a discernible difference?
Yeah, it made a very big difference.
It did.
Because the number of people who have turned out in this ECVR1 compared to the drive that we had in the run-up to the 2022 general election, the performance is much better this time round. And a big factor is attributed to the Tukokadi drive that has been spearheaded by the youth, because a rough estimate of the those who have been registered so far, the youth account for more than 80%. So yes, the Tukokadi movement has had a very strong influence in performance, and it has even inspired those who are not so youthful to also come out. To
come out.
Yes.
Yeah, there has been also a rise of the voter transfer. People now seeking to register elsewhere. What is really informing this?
Number one, the technology that we're using this time has been expanded.
Okay.
We have open kits. Now, with an open kit, you can register at any registration center countrywide. Like, you don't have to travel to your home constituency if you plan to vote in your home constituency. You can do it right here in Nairobi or from any other registration point that is possible. So the issue of having open kits has actually also contributed to having a higher turnout, because previously people would shy away from traveling up country probably to go and register. If you're working in Nairobi and you wish to register in Kakamega, you will find it expensive to travel. But this time round, it's been possible to do it from wherever one is. Now, on the issue of transfer of voting stations, there's been a huge turnout, especially in Nairobi. We've had this time, as of today, more than 35,000 Kenyans who have applied to change their voting stations, mostly either within Nairobi, from one constituency to another, from one ward to another, and also a good number of people who have changed their residences to Nairobi. Now, for one to transfer their voting station, they must do it at the constituency office in the constituency where they want to transfer to. And one thing that we've also done is to enhance the integrity of that process. Someone must present themselves physically before a registration officer and have their biometrics verified before a transfer is effected. So it will be difficult for someone to say that they have been transferred without their consent, because they must provide their biometrics for verification before that transfer can be effected.
But is there a way that this voter mobility can affect the outcome?
No, it will not affect outcome, because we believe that when you apply to register in a situation, in a registration center outside where you are physically, you know very well that come either a by-election, if it will come sooner, or let's say the 2027 general election, you know you will be in that particular place, or you are planning to travel to it. So we believe anyone who is registering outside, probably Nairobi, if they're here in Nairobi, they are planning to vote in that particular registration area.
And tell me, how then has the political parties been very key in the driving of this voter registration? Have they also made any difference in terms of trying to mobilize their people, the party members, to go and also sell out that particular message to the people to come out and vote?
Yeah, we've seen
that?
We've seen most political parties trying to whip their members and the general public to come out, but that voice has not been as loud as we'll have expected, because in many political jurisdictions across the world, it is the political class who have a bigger interest in those numbers. So we'll have expected to hear even louder voices whipping Kenyans to come out. But at least we thank God, because by and large, this drive has been a success, and we believe it will be a good starting point going forward. Right.
So you hail it a success. What about the diaspora factor in it as well? How has been the registration? Is there any upsurge in numbers that you've seen compared to the previous registration of diaspora?
No, for this particular drive, there was no
diaspora
registration for diaspora.
Why not?
Registration in diaspora is extremely expensive, but there are plans to have it. activated.
But that is a very huge constituent we're talking about, you know, looking at what you normally have as remittance coming from the diaspora, and then they're denied, you know, this huge factor of them being registered to vote. Do you think that is a big disservice that you're doing to the diaspora constituent?
Thank you. Though it's a concern to those who are in the diaspora, but the truth is that they are not denied. In fact, the law allows the Commission to progressively expand registration in the diaspora. The number of registration centers has steadily grown from 5 initially in the East Africa region, and now they are steadily moving towards 20 stations. And as we move towards the enhanced voter registration phase 2, I believe that is when diaspora will come in. And the Commission has held several meetings with the representative of the people in the diaspora forum to discuss those modalities of how we can reach out to Kenyans who are living outside the country. So no, they have not been left out. They are part of the plan. Just like we also do register Kenyans who are in correctional facilities in our prisons. We didn't do it in this drive, but it's most likely going to be done in the second enhanced voter registration drive.
But you've mentioned, you know, you're constrained budget-wise. Where are you going to get the money? You've been seeking, you know, an additional supplementary budget from, you know, Parliament to try and boost up your budgets. Where are you going to get these funds that you're saying, oh, they'll be considered, it's expensive, you say? Where's the money?
Yeah, it's not cheap, but it has to be done.
Yeah, how will it be done without that finance?
What I want to clarify is that before any major election activity, a detailed budget is normally developed. Now, for this ECVR, diaspora was not included in that plan. But going forward, it will be included in the budget and the funding that the Commission will be seeking from Treasury to finance that. So every aspect of the electoral process is normally budgeted for.
Right. So looking just briefly, I know this will be a one-liner. The 2022, you know, that particular exercise that you had with this one, is there any wide berth of a difference in terms of the upsurge of numbers?
Yes.
It has.
There's been a huge difference.
Okay.
Number one, like I said, is the open kits. You can be able to register from wherever you are to any registration center in the country. So that has encouraged people to come out and register. The other issue is the compactness of the registration equipment. Now it's small, you can carry it in a backpack and be able to move around to go where there are Kenyans wishing to register as voters. It's also much easier now to upload the data that we're able to register in a day. Where our registration equipment is connected to our secure network, the upload is almost instant as compared to the previous drives where we had to physically move data from the BVR, the former BVR gadget, to our upload centers. So it's more easier to upload data, and the voters are now able to find themselves in the register in a shorter period compared to previous drives.
Well articulated, Albert Gogo, IEBC County Election Manager, Nairobi City County. Thank you for coming through. And of course, we hope the last day also they will show up. As we always say, sisi wa Kenya ni watu wa mwisho mwisho, isn't it?
Yeah, they still have tomorrow.
They still have tomorrow.
Out, and register.
Yeah.
But again, they will be able to do it in our constituency offices.
Fantastic.
Going forward after tomorrow.
Many thanks.
Thank you so much.
All right, there you have it. So you know, you can actually just make sure that you maximize on the last day that is tomorrow. We want to take a short break.